What is up, my frosty brethren? My name is Arctic, and I am back from BlizzCon. Wanted to give you guys a quick recap. Got some Overwatch gameplay here playing in the background. Been enjoying myself in the Overwatch beta. Enjoying my time at BlizzCon playing Overwatch. A lot of excitement around the game. Seems like a lot of Blizzard fans are really anxious and hyped to play Overwatch. One of the things that was announced for official I guess news was the pricing and that it's coming to the Xbox One and the PS4, which I think is good news for a lot of console folks out there. I'm actually going to play it on PC, but I know some people that have been commenting on videos, have been saying, yeah, I'm not interested in it, it's not coming to consoles. Now you guys can be excited about it as well. Overwatch for me is probably the most anticipated game I've had of I would say this year, since I have access to it, but in a while. I think Battlefront is up there, Overwatch, and then No Man's Sky are probably like my three most anticipated games for the next generation of consoles so far. I think that the pricing is kind of throwing people off, but I guess from their positioning, one, this doesn't need to be a free-to-play game, but a lot of folks are concerned about whether or not new heroes means that they're going to have to pay for them, or what the content is going to be like there. And I'm not mad about their decision to make this a $40 box product and then have to worry about DLC. One of the things I always mention about DLC is like, if you look at traditional models, it's like, it's starting to move away with that, right? Like Halo 5 is not doing that. Evolve didn't do that because it's dumb, but they'll package 3 maps for multiplayer, maybe a new weapon or something like that, and then call it a day and then make you pay $15. I think Blizzard is more like, hey, and who knows what it'll be. Even if they do introduce heroes, they introduce a hero, they give you new maps for free, which is what I'm speculating they would do. Then all you're paying for, you can still play the game, you still play the map, you're not out of DLC content, but you would be, I guess, out of the hero rotation if you felt like there wasn't a hard counter. And I think that's what a lot of folks are concerned about, is if they introduce new heroes, there's not going to be hard counters to those heroes. At the same time, the reason that they didn't go free to play is the exact same reason that people are complaining about in the first place, is basically if they do not have heroes to use in a given situation, then they're unable or have to purchase a hero to play in the first place. So basically what people are saying is, well, I want to pay $40. If you guys introduce a new hero, I want that $40 to cover that, because I don't want it to be free to play, because the same issue occurs in free to play. So it's like a redundant argument that absolutely makes no sense from the things that I've seen on Reddit and otherwise. But it really puts Blizzard in a, I guess, peculiar position, because on one hand, if they do free to play model, then again, it's worse off than if they go $40, because you're going to have less heroes available to you. You might not have the specific hero that you need in the counter. In this situation, they're like, hey, it's $40 for a while. Who knows what DLC is going to look like? And people are speculating that that's going to be the incorrect model, because once they introduce new heroes, then they're SOL again. So it's like this really weird circular argument that people are like overly concerned about. Some of the, I guess, haters that I've seen about it, or people that are just generally worried. But either way, the argument I feel like just doesn't hold water, because you get a worse scenario in a free-to-play model. I guess the only situation where this absolutely makes sense, and you don't have to worry about it, is if you look at the Dota 2 model, where they say all the heroes are free forever and we'll figure out other stuff to monetize. That will probably be the only situation where I think people maybe celebrate it. I'm not sure. But ultimately, this is just one of those points of contention that people are going to have regardless of whatever the situation is going to be at hand. It's just one of those things. Gamers being gamers. Outside of the Overwatch stuff, I played Heroes of the Storm, the Cho'Gall thing. I didn't get to play Cho'Gall. I played Greymane, which is the werewolf, basically, for those that aren't familiar with Heroes of the Storm. But basically, he's a shapeshifter that can plays a human, ranged, and then morphs into a melee character. Pretty interesting to have both of those in one character is pretty fun to use and play as for the match. We actually got steamrolled in that particular match that we played, but it was fun to use him. I do want to play with Cho'Gall. Unfortunately, I don't actually have Cho'Gall on my account. The email that I registered for at BlizzCon is not the email that I play with on my Battle.net account. So while everyone got to celebrate about having Cho'Gall, I was not one of those people that's going to have Cho'Gall. So I have to play with someone in order to have him unlocked. So I really like the way the character was introduced. I think that's really cool, really innovative. And this is the first character. Cho'Gall is the very first character ever introduced in a MOBA that requires 2 players to play 1 character. And from some of the folks that have been talking about him, playing him, it sounds like they had a pretty good time. You know, other than you only get like a 1 session, so I'm sure there's going to be like a learning curve to playing Cho'Gall, but it was definitely interesting to see people's reaction to it. It's pretty cool. And then the other thing I'm excited about, again, more Overwatch stuff, is Tracer, the female like Echo character, League of Legends Echo. She will be in Heroes of the Storm, so basically Echo is going to be in Heroes of the Storm. I don't know how they're going to play her, but I thought that was pretty interesting. I like her as a character. And outside of that, you know, I watched Hearthstone tournaments. I watched the StarCraft 2 championships. I watched Heroes of the Storm championship. I actually saw the Team Dignitas versus Navi match. And I was right there, second row from the beginning of the worst part about that entire match. It was a pretty fun match to watch. Dignitas just basically took it to Navi. But they had technical difficulties that took like 2 hours to solve, which is probably the longest downtime I've ever seen for a situation that didn't require you to just reboot the systems. And I believe it was an audio issue. So that was probably the only bummer. Otherwise, presentation, production, all that stuff was spot on for the StarCraft 2 and the Heroes of the Storm. And even Hearthstone was pretty dang on good. So, you know, I really enjoyed the production value that they brought to all of that. You know, they're going to have more global tournaments here soon for esports for Blizzard and across all their games. So at least the ones that have esports. I wouldn't be surprised if Overwatch gets thrown into the mix come next year. I'm really looking forward to competing in that. And I want to see how you know, the meta or the game modes and all that stuff kind of interact from at a very high competitive level here in the future. So I'm anticipating very big things from Overwatch in the esports land. Now the venue itself, again, first time BlizzConer, there is absolutely an insane amount of stuff to do, from playing the games. They had like 300 PlayStations for Overwatch. When I say play areas or kiosks, basically sit down and be able to play. Probably had 300 networked together, 12 on a side, and I think there was like 14 rows. So something, and there's 2 rows of 14. So yeah, it was something like 300 stations. It was crazy, insane number of stations. I think Heroes of the Storm had in the hundreds-ish. Hearthstone had maybe 50. And I don't remember seeing where StarCraft's was, or if there was StarCraft stations. I'm sure there was, but I didn't actually venture to that area of the show floor. I just went to the championships, which was in the basically the arena. They also had this, I can't remember the name of it, but they had like an area where you could get like face paintings. It was almost like a carnival. Face paintings and you know, like artist signings and all this different stuff. They had voice actors there. They had this area that had art for you to check out, which is just game art, concept art. It was just fantastic, phenomenal stuff. Then they had a bunch of the dev talks about the games on the main stage and at different areas throughout the show floor. So, you know, just an awesome time. People were really excited about it. I love the atmosphere. And it felt very much so like kind of TwitchCon in that the people there were excited about Blizzard games. So the general energy in the place was always like people were pumped up. People were talking about stuff. You didn't really hear people saying anything negative. It's just people having a good time. And that's, you know, what you kind of expect and will want from an event like that. So, you know, I had an awesome time. I got some Overwatch swag. I bought some stuff for my daughter. I got some little figurines and stuff. It was a good time, man. It was a really good time. I'm actually looking forward to going next year. That's how good of a time I had. So hope you guys enjoyed this overview of BlizzCon and Overwatch and Heroes of the Storm, all that stuff. Expect more Overwatch here on the channel. Expect more games in general. You guys know what I do for those that are frequently watching. And until the next time, folks, I will catch you all later. Stay frosty. If you like this video, you should probably click on the one down below. That'll take you to another video. You may like it. A little bit about me. I'm a former pro player. I play PC and console, mostly shooters. I also have a gaming podcast. I do tips and tactics, live gameplays. Check out my Twitch. Also, I work in the industry. Why are you not subscribed?